Welcome to America's Commercial Real Estate Show, your source for market intel, forecasts, and strategies, and hopefully a little bit of fun. Hello, I'm Michael Bull. Thank you for joining us. This segment is brought to you by my company, Bull Realty, for commercial real estate services, leasing, tenant rep, selling buildings, anything you need, give us a call. You can reach me directly. Email is michael@bullrealty.com. Well, we have a great show for you today. One of the things that folks are thinking about maybe more intently than they used to is asset allocation and looking at risk of your current portfolio and your acquisitions and development. Let's talk about that today. Please welcome my guest. It's Dave Codrea. Dave is CEO of Greenleaf Capital Partners, and he's here in Studio One. Dave, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you guys have been involved for many years in a lot of different property types. I mean, you guys have office, you have medical, you have retail, you've got single tenant net lease, and the dreaded office properties, right? People say
dreaded, but we're like, hey, how can we find more of them?
How can we find more of them? So when you look at the market today, what are you seeing? What asset types are most favorable to you and your investors?
Yeah, right now we're trying to find, as like you mentioned, single story. We want single story assets mainly because we know how to operate them. Mm-hmm. We feel like we can reduce some risk if we know what the heck we're doing. And we can better assess that on a single story, sometimes 2-story
office
type office. Yeah.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of good deals in the market around that, and then we're converting them to a different use. It's not necessarily it just stays as office, but it could be converted to half flex, half office up front. Sometimes it's warehouse use. There's a lot of different things that can be used for, and we're reducing our sizes. So we're looking for. It doesn't matter what the whole building is, but if we can get a suite that comes out to like 5,000 square feet, 7,000 square feet, there's a lot of business demand right now to move into that space and move in quickly.
I like that. I love that. And I sell office buildings around the country, and I've seen the same thing when the current use now. We go in buildings and the smaller suites are active. The smaller companies are active. They're using their space. And it's the big companies with the big spaces that, or seem to be less used.
Yeah, the bigger spaces are kind of daunting. You're going to look at 100,000 square feet or something that's huge. But we're doing a bunch of conversions where you've got a 25,000 square foot building that we can divide up to 4 or 5 suites, and we rent them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So,
well, you might get a lot of calls because no one's buying office, they say today.
we think about it could have really been anything before that. We're doing a deal right now that it's office. Right, and it's vacant, so it's a vacant building that we're going to buy and reposition that asset. But when we're opening things up, like it still had the roll-up doors in the walls from when it was a flex building. So It's a single-story asset that we can do something with pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's great. So, what do you think about retail today?
Well, we've had a lot of good success with retail. Mm-hmm. I think when you compare the types of tenants that are in all the various retail outlets, like some of these are exceptionally well-run organizations with incredible real estate teams. So a lot of retail tenants are not just like willy-nilly picking a location to be in.
Right.
They've got, we went to ICSC, we're out there in Vegas talking to the Dollar General real estate team. Everyone's worked there for like 25 years. Yeah. They know exactly what they're buying. Right. They know exactly what they're doing. So it's like, okay, that makes your decisions a little easier when you've got an organization that's that good at what they do. Yeah. So, we're trying to find as many of the single tenant. We like single tenant retail versus the mixed retail. Right. It's easier for us to kind of underwrite and get through, and easier on the lending front with one known tenant. So we're able to find those deals, and they work pretty well. They're good for a long-term hold and generate cash flow.
Yeah, and I think the single tenant net lease market is usually popular during slowdowns in the commercial real estate world, right? People are looking for the safety of that high credit tenant that's probably still busy and probably still doing really well, right?
Yeah, and I think you've got to look at what the brand that's in there. Some brands definitely do better than other brands.
Right.
But if you're looking at a brand that's a strong performer, I think that reduces your risk a lot.
Are you seeing some deals that you'll still buy in the single tenant net lease world that or negative leverage where your cap rates may be lower than your finance rate?
We just get less debt if we're looking at those situations. Because we're not gonna do something where, the debt cost is 10%. I mean, interest rates, we do mostly amortizing loans. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to really go in and do interest only too much. Mm-hmm. So it's a little more conservative play. So that can hurt your cash flow, but also believe that's a safer strategy long term. Yeah. So we just have less debt. Yeah. Which isn't entirely a bad situation. That's not bad.
That's a good thing. So the headlines are out there that commercial real estate's doomed, office is doomed, kind of like the Great Recession. They said housing was doomed, and during COVID, retail was doomed. Now they're saying banks are doomed. What are you seeing from your desk?
I kind of like hearing that kind of stuff because when you go out there and people are saying, "Oh, this is all going to be terrible," it's like maybe I should go look there then. Right. And after the fact, everyone says, "Oh, those are good times to buy things." It's like, well, it's at the same point when everyone's saying everything is terrible. Maybe that's a good time to look at it.
Absolutely.
We haven't seen like just utter newsworthy collapse of stuff. Yeah. Like there's deals out there. Yeah. But we're still, even if office being a bad word, it's like we're still signing office leases. Yeah. We signed a lease last week on an office space that's 3,500 square feet, not 100,000 square feet. Right. I think those are probably tied up for a while. I don't, but we don't buy those assets.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And lenders are doing loans for you, right?
Conservative loan. I think conservative loans. Yeah. We're not getting 90% interest only leverage. Right. But we were never trying to get that before anyway. So we're doing a loan this month. We're getting 64% leverage, and we're paying around 6%
on a single tenant.
On a single tenant
deal.
It's
okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's more back to historic normal rates, right? So for those of us who been here a long time, it's like these rates really aren't high. They're really just normal, right? A normal world, right? So what do you think about industrial right now? So it seems to be a really hot sector.
Yeah, demand has been exceptionally strong in industrial, and a lot of that too is when we're buying smaller industrial assets. You can't really build a big industrial asset close to Atlanta. Where are you gonna do it? Yeah. So demand is kind of full. I mean, they build bigger ones like further and further out on the highways, but in town or anything that's like remotely closer to town, it's hard to find that space. So it's pretty much all full. Right. I think it's, we operate a lot in the northeast part of Atlanta. It's like 97% full on industrial space, and we've seen rents. We've bought some industrial deals where rents were like $2 or $3. And that's because they were in place from 10 years ago and they had not been like adjusted by the owner, some kind of situation. Right. And, now they're in the low teens. It's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. We've seen some tenants get some real rate shock there.
Yeah. It's if you go from 2 to 12, it's like, wait a minute here. Yeah. What is happening?
But you guys have properties all over the Southeast, right?
Yeah. We're in pretty much all the states in the Southeast, and we love the Southeast from some standpoint of population growth. I think if you're in an area with more demand, it can cover up a lot of things that are happening. Eventually, you're going to make some mistakes in real estate, but if you're a population growth in a growing area, it certainly helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's like land; they're not making any more of it.
Yes, they stopped making land a while ago.
What do you see today from your desk related to value add versus core versus different ways to do value add? What do you see today?
Yeah, I mean we've focused on value add, so we haven't done like development type work, but the value add stuff is all about time. In our playbook is like how fast can we go get some of this stuff done? Because a lot of the times the time delays can really crush a project. And even coming back from COVID, like getting mechanical equipment is still lengthy, right? So if you got to do a big HVAC remodel on stuff, it's going to take a lot of time. So if you can find a value add where some of the ones that are going to take a lot longer to do that you don't have to do, you can kind of get ahead of the picture there.
So. That makes sense. And then, of course, you are buying core if you're buying the single tenant net lease credit tenant stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And that's your core. And your value add is more of the office and industrial.
Yeah, office, really just single story conversions to something that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been office. I mean, we bought a single story. I don't even know what you would have called it, but it was essentially packed to the brim with old computer equipment. Mm-hmm. You had to walk around it like in a maze.
Right.
We see stuff like that. I'm like, this is exciting because this is a disaster. We can clean this out and we can rent it to someone who's going to actually use it.
Right.
So I don't know if that was trash. Office, I have no idea what you would even call that one we bought.
Right.
But it's a good deal now because we cleaned everything out.
Yeah. I just listed an office building. I think it's about 30,000 square feet. And I would say it's a D class. But when I'm filling out
perfect.
The
paperwork,
that's perfect. I didn't see they say A, B, and C. I didn't see an option for D. And we sold it in a day. I'm like, you've been in this building, right? It's pretty rough.
Yeah, people ask us too sometimes, like, what type do you buy? And they're like, is it like, class B? I was like, what's class F? What's like just it's vacant, it's a disaster. We're gonna start from there.
There you go. But you also have some very nice properties. I know we've helped you buy some of them. Yeah. But you also, what do you think about medical today as part of your allocation strategy?
I would say 2021, we had a pretty good run with medical where we could get just phenomenal debt. Mm-hmm. A lot of our medical debt, I think the lowest one we got was 2.76% on a 10-year fixed loan. And
nice.
That was amazing. And we were able to get great medical tenants that signed long-term 10-plus year leases. Mm-hmm. So it was very good. And now pricing is just too hard for us.
Yeah.
Like pricing is pretty strong on medical assets. I think medical is a huge part of GDP. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these organizations have done phenomenally well over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And they're going to, it sounds like they're going to keep doing well.
Yeah.
But I think if you can find good, strong, branded medical tenants versus an individual medical office, they're kind of getting gobbled up by private equity firms right now.
Yeah.
But they're performing very well. They're good, strong businesses. So having the real estate that has a good, strong business in it, is key.
Yeah, that is key. I think we put 5 or 6 medical office buildings under contract in the last week.
Yeah. Probably good pricing.
Yeah, good pricing. Yeah, real good pricing. So, what do you expect moving forward? I know you're looking for, people are looking for safe investments, right, in this market. So you like medical, you like single story office, you like industrial, you like single tenant net lease. I know you also have buildings with some government tenants in them. What do you feel about the safety there?
There's state government and federal government tenants, and some of those there's VA clinics. They're a mix of medical and they're a mix of government-backed entities. Yeah. And we've been bullish on those simply because they're a sticky tenant. They're mandated basically to be in different areas. Yeah. So they have very specific build outs that keep them to be a stickier tenant. Yeah. And as long as you're taking care of things and they work well, most likely you have a good long-term relationship there.
Yeah.
So we like those assets just from that standpoint. That's a different type of money, right? There's not a whole lot of equity multiple opportunity there. It's more cash flow that you're buying there.
Right. But a safe cash flow, right? The government's going to pay. They're just going to take the money from us, right, and pay it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yes, yeah.
They'll just take more and more or whatever they need.
Yeah,
and they'll keep paying the rent. That's and we have several government leased buildings on the market and coming on the market. If you guys out there are looking for safe allocation, safe investments, and get some cash flow, well, Dave, what would you leave our audience with to think about for risk, asset allocation?
Real estate. You've got to understand what risk you're willing to take. Like, where is that you want to take risk? Is it location based? Is it tenant based risk? Or is it operational risk? Like, which one are you comfortable with? And make sure that you've got any money you're putting into real estate. It's the exposure to risk is the one that you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And I guess accredited investors can invest in some of your deals, right? In your funds.
Yeah, we use accredited investors and syndicate money, pool money together to go buy various different assets. And we don't use a fund structure, so it's all just deal by deal. Yeah. And if it's an attractive opportunity, we're always open to having different investor groups come in and look at those with us.
Yeah. And their website is gogreenleafmanagement.com. realtyreit.com if you want to check out their properties or potentially invest with them, or you have a building to sell to them. All right.
Yep, that one too.
Reach out. All right, Dave. Great information.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. And thanks for joining us around the country. Please let us know what you think. Please share the show. Please connect with us on social media. Hey, subscribe and like the show, all that great fun stuff. Until next week, be sure that you always lead, learn, and laugh, and join us for America's Commercial Real Estate Show. America's Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty. For commercial brokerage sales and leasing in the Southeast U.S., contact our show host by email at michael@bullrealty.com. By Commercial Agent Success Strategies, 21 incredible one-hour agent training videos. Learn more at commercialagentsuccess.com. By C5 CCIM Summit, 3 days of commercial real estate networking, learning, and investing. Learn more and register at c5summit.realestate. And by Lument. For senior housing, healthcare, and multifamily financing, visit lumet.com. For more podcasts and videos, subscribe and visit creshow.com.